Admiral James Hawthorne stood at the helm of the UES Hyperion, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he studied the massive holographic display before him. The Valerian Defense Station loomed ahead, a twisted spire of dark metal and pulsing energy fields that had, until now, been considered impenetrable by every known species in the galaxy. "Status report," he commanded, his deep voice carrying across the bridge without effort. Lieutenant Olivia Chen's fingers danced across her console, bringing up detailed scans of the alien fortress. "Their quantum barrier is operating at full capacity, Admiral. Energy readings suggest they've never encountered anything that required this level of defensive power before." A slight smile touched her lips. "They have no idea what we're capable of." The Hyperion represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a vessel that could manipulate the fabric of spacetime itself. While other species focused on brute force approaches to faster-than-light travel, human scientists had discovered something far more elegant: the ability to temporarily phase-shift matter through dimensional boundaries. "Begin the approach sequence," Hawthorne ordered. "Tactical, prepare the Möbius protocol." Commander Viktor Petrov, the ship's tactical officer, initiated the complex sequence of commands that would demonstrate why humanity had earned its reputation as the most unpredictable species in known space. "Möbius protocol active, sir. Reality distortion field at maximum capacity." The massive alien station's command center must have been chaos as their sensors detected the impossible, a human vessel that simply ignored the laws of physics as they understood them. The Hyperion didn't try to break through their defenses. It simply existed in a state where those defenses weren't relevant. "We're receiving a transmission from the station," Lieutenant Chen announced. "They're demanding our immediate withdrawal." Hawthorne's expression hardened. "Put them through." The holographic display shifted to show a Valerian High Commander, its crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the emergency lights of their command center. "This is High Commander Ixil of the Valerian Collective. Your presence here violates 17 different space treaties. Withdraw immediately or face annihilation." "This is Admiral James Hawthorne of the United Earth ship Hyperion," he responded, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's determination. "You have abducted citizens from our outer colonies. Return them immediately, or I will demonstrate exactly why your species finds humans so terrifying." The Valerian's crystalline features shifted in what might have been amusement. "You send a single ship against our greatest fortress? Your species' arrogance truly knows no bounds." "Wrong," Hawthorne replied calmly. "We sent a single ship because that's all we needed. You're about to learn why humans don't need overwhelming numbers to be overwhelming." He gestured to Commander Petrov. "Execute Phase 1." The Hyperion's revolutionary drive system activated, creating a localized bubble of altered spacetime. To the Valerians' horror, their own sensor systems suddenly registered the human vessel in 17 different locations simultaneously, each one appearing to be completely real and solid. "Impossible," High Commander Ixil's composed demeanor cracked. "Our quantum arrays indicate all signatures are authentic. You cannot exist in multiple locations." "Actually," Hawthorne allowed himself a small smile, "we can. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our ability to question what's possible. You built your defenses assuming everyone would play by the same rules. We decided to change the game entirely." The Hyperion's quantum displacement field began to interfere with the station's barrier systems. Alarms blared throughout the alien fortress as their supposedly impenetrable defenses began to fail, not through brute force, but through the elegant application of human ingenuity. "Final warning," Hawthorne announced. "Return our people, or I'll be forced to demonstrate why humanity's reputation for creative problem-solving causes so much concern among the galaxy's older species." Lieutenant Chen's console lit up with new information. "Sir, they're powering up their main weapon systems. Multiple target locks detected. They're trying to target all 17 projections simultaneously." "As expected," Hawthorne nodded. "Time to show them why that's exactly what we wanted them to do. Commander Petrov, initiate the quantum mirror protocol. The Valerians were about to learn a harsh lesson about humanity's approach to warfare. They weren't dealing with a simple military force. They were facing a species that had turned physics itself into a weapon. The Valerian defense station's internal sensors had never been designed to track quantum-shifted matter. This oversight proved critical as Lieutenant Commander Natasha Volkov led her infiltration team through the supposedly secure corridors of the massive structure. Their phase-shift suits allowed them to exist partially out of sync with normal space-time, appearing as nothing more than occasional electromagnetic distortions on the aliens' instruments. Team 2 in position, whispered Sergeant Jackson Torres through their quantum-encrypted comm channel. You wouldn't believe the look on these crystal faces when their weapons pass right through us. Natasha allowed herself a small smile as she led her squad deeper into the station. The Valerians, for all their technological advancement, had fallen into the same trap as many other species. They'd assumed that physical barriers and energy fields were enough to stop any intruder. They hadn't counted on humans developing technology that simply ignored conventional physics. Remember, she sub-vocalized to her team, we're here for our people. Admiral Hawthorne's distraction with the Hyperion will keep their attention focused outward. We find the holding cells, extract our people, and plant the quantum resonance devices. The infiltration team moved like ghosts through the station's crystalline architecture. Their neural interfaces translated the alien writing that covered various doorways and control panels, while their augmented reality overlays highlighted optimal paths through the complex structure. Years of training in zero-gravity environments and virtual simulations had prepared them for this moment. They encountered their first real challenge at a massive security checkpoint. Even phase-shifted, they couldn't pass through certain types of quantum-locked barriers. Specialist Ravi Kumar stepped forward, his neural interface already connecting with the alien systems. Their security architecture is fascinating, he murmured, fingers dancing through holographic interfaces only he could see. They're using crystalline computing, much more efficient than our binary systems, but also more rigid in its programming structure. They never expected anyone to. There we go. The barrier flickered and dissolved. The team moved through quickly, their suits automatically adjusting to local spatial distortions. Ahead lay the primary detention level, where scans indicated concentrated life signs matching human biosignatures. Interesting, Specialist Kumar noted as they approached the cell block. Their entire security system is based on crystalline resonance patterns. They use harmonics to maintain structural integrity and control access. It's elegant, but they never considered someone might play a different tune, Natasha finished. Deploy sonic disruptors. Let's show them why humans are known for thinking in unconventional ways. The team placed small devices at strategic points around the detention level. These weren't crude explosive charges or EMP generators. They were sophisticated quantum harmonics disruptors, designed to create localized areas where the very fundamentals of matter behaved differently. Through their phase-shift visors, they watched as the crystalline structure began to resonate at frequencies that shouldn't have been possible. The Valerian guards stationed nearby began to panic as their own exoskeletons started vibrating in sympathy with the disruption. Cell block ahead, Torres reported. Reading 23 human biosignatures, they're keeping our people in stasis fields. Natasha accessed the tactical overlay in her neural interface. The Hyperion was maintaining its quantum shell game outside, keeping the station's defensive systems completely occupied. But they were working on borrowed time. Even the Valerians would eventually realize they needed to look inward rather than outward. Kumar, start the awakening sequence. Torres, set up a perimeter. Everyone else, prepare for phase shift extraction. Remember, once we deactivate those stasis fields, we'll have exactly 3 minutes before their quantum harmonics stabilize enough to detect us. The rescue operation was proceeding exactly as planned, which made Natasha incredibly nervous. In her experience, when things went too smoothly, it usually meant you had missed something important. Her instincts proved correct as Kumar's voice came through the comm, tense with unexpected discovery. Commander, you need to see this. The stasis pods, they're not just holding cells. They're scanning our people, running deep-level quantum analysis of human neural patterns. I think they're trying to understand how we think. Natasha moved to his position, studying the data streaming across his holographic interface. The Valerians hadn't just been abducting humans, they'd been studying them, trying to understand the one thing that made humans truly dangerous. Their unpredictability, their ability to conceptualize solutions that should be impossible. Download everything, she ordered. Admiral Hawthorne needs to see this. The Valerians aren't just afraid of our technology, they're afraid of our minds. As her team worked to free the captives and gather intelligence, Natasha couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The Valerians had abducted humans to understand what made them dangerous, and in doing so, they had guaranteed that humanity would demonstrate exactly why they were right to be afraid. In the heart of the Valerian station's engineering sector, Chief Engineer Marcus Rodriguez worked with controlled precision as his quantum interface merged with the alien systems. The crystalline architecture of their technology pulsed with patterns that would have seemed chaotic to most observers, but to his enhanced perception, they were as readable as ancient sheet music. Their entire network is synchronized to crystalline harmonics, he reported to Admiral Hawthorne through the secure quantum channel. It's beautiful, really, like a symphony where every instrument has to play perfectly or the whole thing falls apart. The Admiral's voice came through clearly despite the quantum interference. Can you use it? Marcus smiled as his neural implants processed vast streams of alien code. Sir, they made the same mistake everyone makes when they encounter humans. They assumed their technology was too advanced for us to understand. They never considered we might learn to play their instruments better than they do. Around him, the rescued colonists were being guided to safety by Volkov's team while he prepared for the next phase of their operation. The Valerians had wanted to understand human consciousness. Now they would experience firsthand why that knowledge was so dangerous. Beginning quantum resonance cascade, Marcus announced, his fingers dancing through holographic interfaces that merged human and Valerian technology. They based everything on perfect crystalline structures, but humans, we understand chaos, we thrive in it. Through the station's internal sensors, he could see the Valerian command staff frantically trying to counter his intrusion. Their movements were precise, methodical, following protocols that had served them for centuries. But they had never faced an enemy who could turn their own harmonic technologies into weapons. Look at these readings, he transmitted to the science team aboard the Hyperion. Their entire species evolved in environments with perfect crystalline formations. Their technology, their thinking, even their biology, it's all based on patterns and predictability. No wonder they're so fascinated by us. We're like quantum noise in their ordered universe. The station's systems began to respond to his adjustments. Lights flickered as power conduits rerouted themselves. Security barriers shifted and changed frequency. The Valerians' perfectly ordered world was becoming a chaos space of human design. Warning, the station's AI announced in its crystalline harmonic voice. Unknown consciousness pattern detected in primary systems, implementing quarantine protocols. Marcus laughed as he interfaced deeper with the alien technology. You can't quarantine chaos, he muttered, initiating the programs he had designed specifically for this moment. You can only learn to dance with it. Through the security feeds, he watched as Valerian warriors rushed to contain the spreading disruption. Their crystalline armor, designed to resonate with the station's defensive systems, now worked against them. Each soldier became an unwitting transmitter for the quantum chaos he was introducing into their network. Admiral, he reported, I've gained access to their primary research databases. You need to see this. They haven't just been studying human consciousness. They've been trying to replicate it. They wanted to understand how we can conceive of solutions that their crystalline logic says should be impossible. The data streamed through his neural interface. Detailed analyses of human brain patterns, attempts to map the quantum states of human decision-making, experiments designed to capture the essence of human creativity. The Valerians had been trying to understand the one thing their perfect crystalline minds couldn't comprehend: how to think outside of established patterns. "Sir, they're terrified of us," Marcus continued, his voice filled with dawning comprehension. "Not because of our weapons or our technology, but because we represent something their entire civilization can't process: the ability to function in chaos, to find patterns in randomness, to imagine things that shouldn't be possible, and then make them real." As if to prove his point, the station's systems began responding to his commands in ways that defied the Valerians' understanding of their own technology. He wasn't just controlling their systems. He was teaching them to evolve, to embrace imperfection, to dance along the edge of chaos where human consciousness thrived. "Initiating final sequence," he announced, his mind merged with both human and alien technology. "Let's show them why chaos isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace." The station's crystalline heart began to pulse with new rhythms, patterns that had never existed in its perfect harmonic structure. The Valerians were about to learn that true advancement didn't come from perfection. It came from the beautiful unpredictability of evolution, something humans had mastered long ago. First Emissary Thalia Blackwood stood in the Valerian High Council chamber, her dark diplomatic uniform a stark contrast against the crystalline architecture surrounding her. The rescue operation had forced the Valerians to the negotiating table, but now came the more delicate task: preventing this incident from escalating into full-scale war. The council chamber hummed with an almost musical resonance as 7 Valerian High Lords arranged themselves in their traditional heptagonal formation. Their crystalline bodies refracted light in complex patterns that Thalia's neural interface identified as a form of emotional expression. Right now, they were broadcasting fear, confusion, and, most interestingly, curiosity. "You have violated our sovereign territory," High Lord Zentrix began, his crystalline form pulsing with indignant harmonics. "Corrupted our systems, introduced chaos into order. These are acts of war." Thalia allowed herself a small smile. "Interesting perspective, given that you've been abducting human citizens and experimenting on their consciousness patterns without provocation. Let's discuss why the Valerian Collective, a civilization that prides itself on perfect order, would risk interstellar conflict to understand human chaos." The chamber's resonance shifted as the High Lords communicated in frequencies beyond human hearing. Thalia waited patiently, knowing that Admiral Hawthorne and the Hyperion remained in position outside, their quantum technology still keeping the station's defenses confused and divided. "Your species," High Lord Myrax spoke, his crystalline form shifting to scholarly patterns, "defies fundamental laws of cosmic order. You imagine impossible things, then force reality to accommodate them. This cannot be allowed to continue unchecked." Through her neural interface, Thalia received updates from Marcus Rodriguez's ongoing analysis of the station's research data. "You mean like how we forced reality to accommodate quantum phase shifting? Or how we learned to harmonize with your crystalline technology in ways you never imagined possible?" "Precisely," another High Lord, Crixus, vibrated with agitation. "Your species takes ordered systems and introduces variables that should not exist. You corrupt perfection with possibility." Thalia stepped forward, her movements measured and deliberate. "What you call corruption, we call evolution. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our creativity, it's our understanding that perfection is stagnation. The universe isn't a crystal, Lords of the Collective. It's a storm." The chamber's resonance changed again as her words translated through their crystalline consciousness. For beings evolved from perfect geometric patterns, the concept of beneficial chaos was almost impossible to process. Almost. "You speak of storms," High Lord Zentrix observed, his harmonics shifting to a more contemplative frequency. "Yet your ship, your technology, they demonstrate perfect control over quantum chaos. How do you maintain order within disorder?" "The same way the universe does," Thalia replied. "By understanding that order and chaos aren't opponents, they're dance partners. Every human child learns this instinctively when they first play with building blocks. Sometimes you have to knock things down to build something better." She gestured to the holographic displays showing the station's modified systems, now pulsing with new patterns that merged Valerian precision with human innovation. Look at what engineer Rodriguez did with your technology. He didn't destroy its perfection, he taught it to evolve, to adapt, to grow. The High Lord's crystalline forms began resonating in complex patterns that Thalia's interface translated as intense academic debate. They were beginning to understand that humanity's chaos wasn't a threat to order, it was a catalyst for advancement. We propose, High Lord Myrax finally announced, a cultural exchange, not through abduction and experimentation, but through collaboration. Perhaps there is wisdom in controlled imperfection. Thalia's neural interface pinged with an incoming message from Admiral Hawthorne. The rescued colonists were safely aboard the Hyperion, and the quantum resonance devices were ready to be deactivated. They had achieved their immediate objectives, but now she saw an opportunity for something greater. Your research into human consciousness was flawed from the start, she told the Council. You can't understand chaos by trapping it in perfect crystalline cages. If you want to learn what makes humanity unique, you need to be willing to step into the storm yourselves. The chamber's harmonic resonance shifted to a frequency that had never been recorded in Valerian history. The sound of perfect order, considering the possibility of beautiful imperfection. Admiral Hawthorne stood on the Hyperion's observation deck, watching as the Valerian station pulsed with new patterns of light, crystalline structures now dancing with quantum possibilities that would have been unthinkable just hours ago. Beside him, Engineer Rodriguez and First Emissary Blackwood studied the holographic readouts of the station's evolving systems. It's beautiful, Rodriguez murmured, his neural interface translating the complex harmonics. Their entire station is becoming a hybrid entity, Valerian crystal precision interwoven with human chaos theory. It's like watching two different musical traditions create an entirely new symphony. Through the quantum-enhanced viewport, they could see Valerian ships approaching, not with hostile intent, but with what their sensors identified as scientific curiosity. Each vessel's crystalline structure was already beginning to resonate with the new harmonics emanating from their modified station. They're calling it the Chaos Enlightenment, Blackwood reported, reading from diplomatic updates. The High Lords are describing it as the most significant advancement in Valerian history since they first achieved crystalline consciousness. Lieutenant Commander Volkov joined them, her infiltration team's phase shift suits now powered down. The rescued colonists are all in good condition. The Valerian stasis technology actually preserved them perfectly, almost too perfectly. That was their fundamental misunderstanding, Hawthorne noted. They thought they could capture and study the essence of humanity by preserving it in perfect stasis. They never realized that our essence is change itself. The station's new resonance patterns were spreading, transmitted through the quantum crystalline network that connected Valerian civilization. Reports were coming in from across their territory of spontaneous evolutionary surges in their technology, their architecture, even their art. They're requesting something unprecedented, Blackwood announced, her neural interface pulsing with incoming diplomatic traffic. The High Lords want to establish a permanent human presence on their station, not as subjects for study, but as catalysts for evolution. Rodriguez laughed. They want to maintain the chaos we introduced, a controlled dose of human unpredictability to keep their systems from becoming too rigid. A new holographic window opened, showing High Lord Zentrix. The crystalline beings form now displayed patterns that would have been considered heretical just days ago, perfect geometric structures interwoven with fractal irregularities. Admiral Hawthorne, Zentrix's harmonics carried notes of both respect and excitement. Your actions have initiated what our scholars are calling the Great Awakening. For millennia, we sought to perfect our crystalline nature. We never understood that perfection was a dead end. Evolution requires imperfection, Hawthorne replied. Room to grow, to adapt, to imagine new possibilities. Precisely, the High Lord's form sparkled with new frequencies. We propose a joint research initiative. Your engineer Rodriguez has demonstrated that our technologies can be merged in ways we never imagined possible. But more importantly, your first emissary Blackwood has shown us that our civilizations can evolve together. The Admiral studied the proposal details flowing across his neural interface. The Valerians were offering unprecedented access to their quantum crystalline technology in exchange for human insights into adaptive systems and creative problem-solving. Your civilization spent centuries pursuing perfect order, Hawthorne observed. Are you sure you're ready to embrace chaos? Zentrix's crystalline form pulsed with what the Admiral's interface translated as laughter. Admiral, you misunderstand. We are not embracing chaos. We are evolving beyond the false dichotomy of order versus chaos. Your species has shown us that the most powerful force in the universe is neither perfect order nor pure chaos, but the creative tension between them. As if to demonstrate this point, the station's crystalline structure began generating new harmonics, mathematical patterns that should have been impossible according to traditional Valerian physics. They were beautiful, complex, and entirely unpredictable while still maintaining their fundamental integrity. Perhaps, Blackwood suggested, this is why humanity developed the way we did, not to master chaos or impose order, but to dance between them, to show the universe that evolution happens at the edge where possibility meets pattern. The Hyperion's quantum sensors detected more Valerian ships arriving, not for battle, but eager to experience the new harmonics, to learn this dance between order and chaos that humans had been practicing since they first looked up at the stars and imagined impossible things. Admiral Hawthorne smiled as he watched crystalline perfection learn to embrace beautiful imperfection. They had come to rescue captured colonists, but had ended up freeing an entire civilization from the prison of its own perfection. Send word to Earth Command, he instructed. Tell them we haven't just avoided a war, we've discovered something far more valuable. We've found a way to help an ancient civilization remember how to evolve. The stars seemed to shimmer as human and Valerian technology harmonized, creating patterns that neither species could have achieved alone. A symphony of order and chaos that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what was possible.